When was the last time you really felt listened to? And when was the last time you really tried to listen to what it was that someone was trying to say? To really be in their corner and really understand what they were trying to get at and what they were trying to communicate. For most of us, listening is simply the act of politely waiting for someone to finish talking. And in the meantime, between your ears, you're coming up with all kinds of ideas about what you're going to say and assumptions that you're making and perhaps even judgments that you're making as well. There's no room in your head to really hear what it is this other person's saying. And you know that's true because when you know that you're not being heard by somebody else, you feel that frustration, you feel that stuckness, you feel that conflict, the barriers coming up that stop you from being able to communicate yourself and stop that relationship from blossoming and growing and deepening into something more meaningful and more fulfilling for you. So this feeling of stuckness is something that appears over and over and over again in relationships. And when I coach people and when I listen to people speak at the Samaritans, this issue comes up time and time and time again. And so it's this thing of who is showing up? Who do you want to show up in this relationship? Because you're the one that has the control over how you react, how you respond, and how you choose to really listen to someone, to allow those barriers to come down and for that relationship to move forward so that the two of you are flowing in the same direction rather than buffing up against each other all the time. So this classic thing of feeling stuck in a relationship, if I can just share a personal example with you, where I had nothing but conflict with my parents, and for many years, one of the ways that I dealt with it was just to keep my distance and not really speak to them at all about anything that was particularly meaningful. And I met a person, a mentor, who taught me that what I want to be able to do to deepen that relationship, to make that relationship better, is to really listen to them, to really listen to my parents and to get a real sense of what their history was like and how they've been molded into the people that they are. So I asked them questions about their past. Now, we're a Jewish family from Eastern European ancestry, and I learned very quickly that community was incredibly secretive. It was very, very private, and it needed to be because there was no way of being able to trust people in that world back in the late 19th century, early 20th century. And if you got that wrong, it could well mean your own death and the death of your family. So my parents grew up with parents who were very secretive, and they also didn't want to be burdened with the feelings and the emotions of other people in the family. They just wanted to be able to get on with life, and there was no real need or desire for them to get that deepening relationship. It was all just about getting on. It was about surviving. We live in a different time now. Instead of surviving now, we want to really thrive. And part of the thing that makes us want to thrive is to be in relationships that feel really meaningful. So I ended up developing a much deeper compassion for my parents. And by giving them the opportunity to speak, what happened was their barriers came down. And my deepening compassion for them meant that my barriers came down as well. And suddenly we were in a position where we could flow together. And since then, those relationships have been much stronger. And I'm very, very grateful to my mentor, but also to my coaching teachers and my Samaritan teachers for showing me the value of listening and how important that is. Compassion is a hugely important value of mine. And so I feel very aligned with myself when I know that I can really understand someone that I'm talking to and I'm listening to. And so that therefore deepens the relationship. So my invitation to you is, if you've got a relationship in your life that feels stuck, or that you feel that there's a relationship that you want to go down deeper, then my invitation is to listen first. Don't speak. Don't make assumptions. Don't make judgments. Try and really understand what it is that that person is saying and where they're coming from. You may not fully understand them, but what I've learned is that people are like unexplored countries or unexplored cities. There's so much to learn, there's so much to experience, and there's so much richness in them that it takes time to do that. And as you allow them to feel heard and seen for who they really are, and accept them for who they really are, then they have a greater capacity to want to listen to you because they felt met. There is this thing of travelling together on the path rather than fighting against each other on the path. So I invite you to do that, and I would love to hear the difference that it makes. I would love to hear your successes and also maybe where you struggle a little bit. So feel free to reach out and post comments online, but if you want it to be private, then please email me at david@potentialitycoaching.co.uk and share some of that. And if you're struggling, I'm more than happy to speak with you and point you in a direction that feels aligned to what is most important to you and what you feel that you can do. Thank you for listening, and I hope to be able to return the compliment. Thank you.